Thursdays from now, we will suspend doing sacred reading on Thursdays. I'm in the process of transitioning out as the pastor of St. James, and many of you watch this on our St. James page or our St. James webpage. In fact, sometimes as many as several hundred, but I will not be same things at that church, but I do intend to continue to do this sacred reading personally, continue to stream these starting in July, maybe a little later. It's my intent anyway to stream them on Thursdays, but it would just be on my Precious LLC YouTube channel. So the YouTube channel. So just so you know, that is in just 2 weeks, this will cease to be in this fashion. So if you watch it on the St. James webpage or on the St. James Facebook, this will cease to be in this fashion. So if you watch it on the St. James webpage or on the St. James Facebook page, and after that, infinitely precious LLC at gmail.com. Otherwise, let's continue with a quick recap. Naomi is married to Elimelech and has 2 sons. They live in Israel. And during the time in Moab, Naomi's husband Elimelech dies, as do her 2 sons, the husbands of Orpah and Ruth. This is really mostly a story about the women, Naomi, Ruth, and for a brief period of time, Orpah. Orpah decides to stay with her people in Moab at Naomi's encouragement. Ruth refuses or provide for themselves, and so there were pieces of the law that allowed for them to find ways to take care of themselves, and one of those was allowing those who are poor and on the margin to glean in fields, was allowing those who are poor and on the margin to glean in fields for herself and Naomi. When Naomi has a conversation with her about where she's gleaning, she finds out that she is gleaning in the house of Boaz, the fields of Boaz. We're beginning a new chapter. And again, we pick up where we are with sacred reading. We listen to see what Spirit may speak into our hearts and our minds. We trust that God can continue to speak today. And so the text, rather than attempting to fully do a deep Bible study behind all of the words and phrases, we listen for echoes of what we feel like God may want to speak into our lives. So listen with God may want to speak into our lives. So listen with me, if you will, as I read to you sacred reading. Maybe it'll be something that's interesting enough to you that you take it up on your own, even after these sure you are provided for. And Boaz, whose workers you have been following, is our closest relative. Tonight he'll be winnowing grain on the threshing floor. Wash up and put on perfume and dress in your finest clothes. Then go down to the threshing floor, but don't let him know you're there until he has finished eating and drinking. See women as fully equal, as fully partnered with the men. And so when about Naomi's suggestion that Ruth dress up, wash up, put on perfume and her finest clothes, and go and meet Boaz in the winnowing house, I feel mixed feelings about it. Knowing believe and act, it is Naomi's duty, she says, to ensure security and fulfillment and make sure you're provided for. She is concerned for Ruth above and beyond herself. So I hear the echo of being concerned for the other. Above and beyond the self at times. Maybe not all the time. The focus has to be the self-giving of Naomi strikes me once again. She has multiply told Ruth that, she could have gone back to her folks in Moab and Naomi would come back to Bethlehem by herself. But once again, we see this kind of dedicate when you are reliant on others for your well-being at times. And yet Ruth and Naomi have found a way to care for each other and provide for each other, ones most likely who could provide for myself. And so it reminds me that not everyone gets an equal shake in society, in the world in which we live, and that oftentimes those who do not get an equal shake have to find a way to provide, and bonding with and binding themselves to one another, finding strength that I guess I'm fortunate and I can have some gratitude for the place I find myself, but I can't be satisfied with that, knowing that there are others in the world for whom that's not true. And so this text calls me out to be reminded that for all the gratitude and fortune I may have personally, that I live in a world where not everyone experiences that. And I have to be not only mindful of it, but work to bring justice to those who aren't. That's the calling I heard. I don't know what you heard. As always, I welcome your comments and your thoughts.